right, quite the welcome. Thank you all for being here today. I see our Fab Four there. We're really, it's an awesome day to be together, and I just want to thank you all for coming to welcome our new head women's basketball coach. Your presence means a great deal to all of us. It also demonstrates, your unwavering support and commitment to what we're building here in the athletic department at Pitt. Today is really the result of countless people working together to bring an extraordinary person and leader to our women's basketball program. And it does start with the leadership of our university, Chancellor Gallagher, and our board of trustees. Alignment of leadership is invaluable in building any successful organization. Without it, it will not happen. But with it, there are no limits to what we can accomplish. And I'm just thankful to be aligned with Chancellor Gallagher and our Board of Trustees who are helping us build a culture of comprehensive excellence. And I just want to give a special thanks to the whole administrative team, our coaches involved, our staff who are here today. Throughout this process, I told every coach we talked to that I love our team, and I would put them up against anyone in the country, and I mean it. You were selfless and relentless in this search. You were as confident as I that we would find the right leader. And late last night, when there were dozens of staff gathered in our offices making plans for today, I realized how special you all are, how important the team is, and frankly, how excited we are all to be a part of building our women's basketball program into a source of pride for our department. Our efforts would not be possible without the commitment and support represented by many of the donors, courtside seat holders, and people who are here today to meet our new coach. It never happens with just one person, one coach, or one player. It does take a university to make it all happen. And as your athletic director, I'll just tell you that it is one of the most important and rewarding parts of the job is hiring a head coach. We all know that this person directly impacts the lives of other people's children, and it is a critical decision. We had great expectations of what we needed in our next leader, and we did not settle for anything less. And we found that leader in Tory Verdi. I have known Coach Verdi since 2013, when I first met him at my press conference at Eastern Michigan. He was the head women's basketball coach then, and I was the brand new director of athletics. For 2 years, I watched Coach Verdi's work ethic. I saw how he built relationships with his players, the interactions with our donors and our community. I saw his concept of family come to life. I'll get through this. I remember the tragic passing of a player. And I saw how Tory embraced every kid on our team and brought that family together in the toughest of times. I saw Coach Verdi build a program that no one expected to be successful, and he did it the right way with the right people. And after Tory left UMass, I always kept an eye on his progress, and like his personality that you will all come to know, he stayed in contact with me because people matter to him. Coach Verdi continued his career at UMass, and he did what no one expected was possible again. For the past 7 years, under Coach Verdi's leadership, he built not just a successful team, but a program. His proven ability to build and elevate programs is undeniable. What I remember about Coach Verdi then, and know about him today, is that he coaches for all the right reasons. And when I think of the words passion, confidence, and family, I think of Coach Verdi. And when we thought about the type of person that we needed at Pitt, Coach Verdi was the perfect fit. We wanted a coach who was grounded in who they are as a head coach. We wanted a coach with integrity and exceptional work ethic. We needed a coach who could prove they had built successful teams from the bottom up. We needed a coach whose highest priority is making sure our student athletes' experiences are extraordinary. And most importantly, we needed a head coach who had the courage and the confidence that they can and want to build it together with us at Pitt. There's no place like Pittsburgh. It is the city of champions. And there's no greater feeling than doing something that others believe is not possible or has never been done before. You know, you win with people, and I am confident we are going to win with Coach Verdi. And one final comment. Coach Verdi is also humble. His mom is here to remind him of that. I'll tell you that when we walked into the Pitt and she saw his picture up there, she said, you know, it's going to be down tomorrow and you've got a lot of work to do. And last night when I called Tory and said, hey, we'd love to do this press conference tomorrow at noon, he said, absolutely, we've got a lot of work to do and I'm all in. Well, that's what we needed, and we are all in with you, Coach. So today we're thrilled to welcome his family, his wife Heather, his kids Avery and Braden, his mother Beverly, his sister Danielle, and his brother Todd to our team. So ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to introduce to you our new head women's basketball coach, Tory Verdi.
Well, you're absolutely right. That jersey will not fit me. So you're 1 for 1. And then, how much do I owe you for saying all those nice things about me? I've been married for over 25 years, and I have not heard things like that. So, thank you. First of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for being here. The past 16 hours, as you can imagine, have been a whirlwind. I want to thank Heather Like, Jan Toscano, and all the members of the search committee. You guys did good. Really good. Great hire. I also want to thank my former UMass administration, Ryan Bamford and Kirsten Britton. Lastly, I want to thank my UMass basketball family. I love you guys and will always be here for you. I want to thank my family for being here today and supporting me. My wife, Heather, I would not be here without you. My children, Tyler, Avery, and Braden. I know it's not easy being a son, daughter of a coach. I know that I miss out on so many things that go on in your life. Just know that I love you so much, and I'm always here for you. To my mom, my biggest cheerleader, get to know her. I think the mic cut off. And I should say, you'll probably hear her as well, especially at the games. Thank you for showing me how to love people unconditionally. Today is such an exciting day. Today is the day that we start winning. We will win, and we will win big. I say that with such confidence because I've been doing it for the last 25 years. I know that we can win here. I felt it from the moment that I stepped foot on campus. Today, we will act like winners. Today, we will carry ourselves like winners. Today, we will look like winners. I'm prepared for this moment. This program is a sleeping giant, and it needs to be awakened. The lack of success within this program have scared many coaches off, but not me. I look at this program as an opportunity to do something that's never been done before. But I need your help. I can't do this alone. We must all be in. From the administration, support staff, players, students, community, and the state of Pennsylvania. All in. This is the city of champions. It's time we do our part. It's time to get to work. It's time to play for and win championships. Thank you once again for being here. Hail to Pitt.
Guys, now at this time, we're going to be open for questions. Raise your hand, state your affiliation and name, and pass it along to the next person.
Coach, Dominic Campbell with Pittsburgh Sports Now. I wanted to know what your negotiations were like with Heather and just how it all came together to get here to Pitt today.
Well, the transition was probably the easiest that I've ever been part of. When you're working with such a professional and somebody that I've known, the transparency was flawless. And like I said, it was a whirlwind. It happened fast, but it was great. Great transition.
Coach, Corey Christa, DK Pittsburgh Sports. Just curious on your thoughts and your standpoint on tackling the transfer portal and NIL in this vast landscape of college basketball that we're now in.
Yeah, we're going to be really busy, and there's no question about that. You know, I'm just super excited about the 4 players that we have in our program right now. You know, they're my main priority, and I had the opportunity to meet with them a little while ago and spend some time, and I'm excited to coach them. I can't do this by myself, and I'm going to be there for them every step of the way. But we're going to tackle the portal, and you know, like I said, there's a lot of work to be done here in the next 48 hours. And you could bet as soon as I get the opportunity, okay, I'm going to be tackling that. But we have a great opportunity to bring in great players that can impact and help us win now. We're not waiting for 3 years. We're not saying that we need all this time to, you know, rebuild and get the right people in. We're not waiting. We're winning. And I don't know, I can't sit here before you and tell you a number, but what I'm going to tell you is that this team will be different. This team will be different, and we will play hard, and we will play smart, and we will play together. And the last bit, and the last piece is we will have fun. And I think there's a lot of coaches around the country that really miss that element. But when our fans and when our community leave our games, they're going to say one thing: wow, they play really, really hard, because that's a controllable. You can control how hard you play, and we're going to play it the right way.
Abby Schnabel, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Heather, at what point did you know that Verdi was your guy? And Verdi, at what point did you know that you wanted to coach this team?
I'll tell you that we scoured the country. You know, we talked to a lot of coaches, and I knew early on his impact. You know what type of person he is and his desire to be here at Pitt. But we had to do our due diligence and go through our process. I knew last night I couldn't wait to call Coach because I was really confident that he would be all in and want to be here at Pitt.
And I couldn't wait for you to call me and take that call. And I totally understand, you know, the process, and I respect the process. And I knew from the moment I stepped on campus. I've never been to this campus before, you know, but I've done my homework. You know, as soon as it came open a month ago, I did my homework on the university and just the facilities and the school and the environment. And it's a special place, the diversity. I know that we're going to be able to recruit here. I know we're going to be able to get special players. But more importantly, we're going to get special people. And we're going to turn this thing around, you know, and it's going to be pretty special when we do it. But I knew a month ago, I just had to wait a little bit.
Hi. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Mike Love from the Tribune Review. I think you addressed a little bit of what my question was going to be about coming in, and how much have you had an opportunity to speak with the with the current players and talk with them about the program and what are your plans over the next couple days and maybe week to talk more with them about the program and their thoughts on that.
Well, we have 7 players. You know, we have 4 that are here today, and we have 3 that are incoming. And so I will visit with them on the phone as soon as I can here today, because that's important. as I said before, these guys in front of me, they're my priority. And then, I have a lot of work to do as far as, contacting, prospective student athletes. So I'm going to be ripping and running and, flying back and forth. And, but I'm excited about this. I'm excited about the task at hand. And I'm excited about the people that I'm going to bring in. And I know that at the end of the day, you're going to be proud. And you're going to be proud of our players. You're going to be proud of how they represent themselves, both on and off the court. And they're going to be winners. They're going to be winners at life as well, because my job does not stop on the court. My job is to prepare our student athletes academically, athletically, and socially. That's my job. And to prepare them for life so that when they leave here, they can be successful in an interview. When they leave here, they're ready to go and tackle life. And that's my job. There's more to basketball than just basketball.
Coach, it took a couple years at UMass to kind of build it back up before, 20-plus win seasons started to come along. How much of a process do you figure? I know you talked about how rapidly you want to get going and how rapidly you want to build this here, but is there a little bit of patience you learned from that time at UMass that could be applied here?
Patience. I think everyone wants instant gratification, all right? But I will tell you this, there's nobody out here that's more competitive than myself, and there's nobody out here that wants to win more than myself. And so I don't have patience. I mean, I think that's probably one thing about myself as far in when you relate it to basketball, But winning's hard. Winning is hard, really hard. And 20 win seasons, all right, don't come very often. And, like I said, I'm not going to stand before you and tell you that, it's going to take 3 years to win 20 games. When I was at Eastern Michigan, all right, we won 8 games my first year. And we had the biggest turnaround, and we went from 8 games to 18 to 24 to a Sweet 16 and NIT. So anything is possible, and it's about going out and finding the right players that fit my system to be different. And that's exactly what we're going to be. We're going to be different in the ACC.
Heather, we talk a lot about the instant gratification that can be hard to find in the first season, but how are you and the rest of the administration going to measure success in this program throughout the first year, since it can be hard to kind of build up that momentum?
Sure. Most importantly, we're going to look to build a program that is, the relationships with the student athletes are really important. We've got to embrace them and build a team mentality. That's first and foremost. Secondly, it's all about seeing progress, right? There's a trajectory that happens. It doesn't just go from 0 to 100 in, overnight. And so there's got to be continued progress and improvement. And I always tell coaches, let's get in the hunt, right? You're not going to win overnight, but there's a big difference between losing by 30 and losing by 5, right? And losing by 2. And so we get into the hunt of winning, you're going to win some games. And it does take time. We've got to, we have 7 kids on the roster. And so, Coach, I think that the best thing was he spent some time on campus. He got a feel for it. He understands. He had great quality time with our other coaches who have been able to build and sustain success here. Those relationships with other head coaches here who have been able to do it will be invaluable, because it's not just you're selling belief. They've proven it here at Pitt. And so it will take a little time, but I'll be excited to see a steady trajectory in the positive direction.
Coach, I'm obviously sure you know who Shauna Green is. She coached at Dayton, and she's at Illinois now. She took over that program and really turned them into an NCAA tournament team in just one season. How much do you see in her and trying to emulate what she succeeded in? How can you do that at Pitt?
Well, she was at Dayton, okay? And I'm not going to emulate her because I beat her in the A-10 championship game, okay? But I appreciate your question, respectfully. She did a fabulous job. There's no question. She was up for National Coach of the Year. There is no question about that, what she did. And I thought that she, did a great job of, tackling the portal and getting, some really good kids in. And she took some kids from Dayton with her. Their starting point guard, who was first team, all Big Ten, and so those things help. But I thought that she did a great job, a masterful job in how she built, the culture there first, and in her mentality, which I know is she wants to outwork you, and we're very similar in that regards, because your effort, that's controllable, and that's where, it's a non-negotiable for myself and my team. We will not be outworked. We will not be outworked, and that's something that I know the fans will appreciate. We're going to be hard-nosed. We're going to be blue collar to the T, and we're going to compete each and every single night.
Coach, is there an aspect that maybe is unique or stands out to you about what makes you think that your system that you put in place through your time at Eastern Michigan and at UMass could translate over to succeed in the ACC?
Yeah. Well, both at Eastern and in the MAC, and at UMass in the A10, we led both leagues in scoring. I mean, this past year we averaged 76 points per game. So we're going to play fast, we'll play furious, we're going to have some fun, but we're going to be different in what we do. We're not going to allow a team to come in here, all right, and just be able to run offensively and be comfortable. We're going to mix things up. We're going to keep them guessing. And, there's a lot of things that you can do basketball-wise to control your opponent. But the first thing is the teams in the ACC will no longer come in here feeling comfortable. And that's where we need everyone's support. We need fans at our game. We need, all right, to have a home court advantage. And we're going to build this. We're going to build this. We're going to build it together. And it's going to be something that everyone's going to be proud of.
Coach Nick Faribaugh, Pitt to the Point. You've built two programs up at Eastern Michigan and UMass. What are some common characteristics that you have identified that are key to building a program up from where it is, say, now at Pitt to where you maybe go to the NCAA tournament in a few years?
Well, how you build up a team to be successful is, one, you got to have great culture, because you can have great players. Doesn't mean that you're going to win. You need to be connected. You need to have a foundation. There needs to be a level of love and respect for one another. Because once you hit adversity and you're not together, you're going to implode and you're not going to be successful. I mean, and the last thing is we need character. And we need players who have an unbelievable competitive spirit. Competitive spirit. And you could see that, you could identify that. As a coach, you could identify someone's love for what they're doing. And we need players who are invested. We need players who have 2 feet in here all the time. We need players who are on the bus.
Heather, at what point throughout your search process and the committee's search process did it become more evident and perhaps clear that Coach Verdi was the prime candidate for this program?
Again, I'll say that the process was, inclusive. We interviewed a lot of different people. There's a huge network of coaches out there. All along, I knew the qualities that Coach Verdi would bring. And at the end of the day, what was most important is he was confident in his abilities. He has built programs and elevated them from ground zero. And that to me was really valuable. The other most important thing is you got to have some confidence. You got to have some courage and confidence in yourself to say, you know what, I'm going to go and take on this challenge and we're going to do it together. And he wants to be at Pitt. He understands the quality of a world-class academic institution, athletic department that has proven in multiple programs that you can bring in the right leaders and they start to build this success. And it's contagious. And I think that he saw that, and we saw that. I certainly know that in his ability to build a program. So, to me at that point, when you look at all those factors, and you can teach a lot of things, but you can't teach confidence, you can't teach belief, and you can't debate the success, and how hard it is to do it at the places he's done it. So that's really what was most important to us. And I know the family relationships and the quality of relationships he has with people and kids. I've seen and witnessed that. That was, again, those are things that you can't teach and you can hope for, but those are real relationships.
Coach, you have experience coaching across the country, but particularly in New England. How important is that, those ties in New England, going to be for this Pitt program going forward?
Well, I mean, I coached in the Midwest, for 5 years at the University of Nebraska and 2 years at University of Kansas, and obviously another 4 years in Michigan. So I feel that I have a lot of balance there, and we're going to target. We're going to start right here and then work our way out. We're going to go north. We're going to go south. We're going to go east and west. And I don't need to fly all over the world. I mean, I'm not high maintenance. I get in my car and I could just drive, a couple hours here and there, but as to answer your question, we're going to target, and I'm very well connected in New York, New Jersey, and the DMV, and so those are the areas that we're gonna target.
Coach, you've also been pretty vocal about being better than other teams. I know you don't know Dan Burt from Duquesne, big rivalry game for Pitt. How do you hope to keep that rivalry going and that ferocity between the two teams?
Well, I mean, 3 months ago when we played them, we beat them by 30. So I'm gonna have to have a conversation with Dan and ask him if he wants to continue to play. No, Dan and I are actually we're good friends, and I appreciate, I mean, he's been in the league, the whole time that I was there, obviously, and before. But I just think that the fact that they're right across, the road here, and it's just a great game for both schools, and a great opportunity. So we have some work to do, and before I start, talking and challenging Dan again, we got to make sure that our roster's complete.
Hi, Coach. My name is Donnie Blackwell. I'm for Pitt to the Point. You kind of about the culture that you want to create here, and I'm pretty sure you've heard about the Oakland Zoo. So how are you preparing to coach in the Oakland Zoo and bring fans to the women basketball games?
Yeah, I'm going to do everything possible, and I'm going to get with marketing and, try to get on campus. I want to meet the students here on campus. I want to give them reason to come watch our players because they deserve that. I mean, we're going to put a product out on the floor that people are going to be super excited to watch. And so that's my message. That's my story. I'm going to rip it. I'm going to run all over campus. I'm going to tell my story to whoever will listen that they need to come and watch our team because they work hard. They're going to work hard each and every single day, and they deserve that. So however I could do it, if you give me, a speaker, you give me a microphone, a megaphone, I will go out marching, and I'm going to tell our story, and I'm going to do everything possible that I can to get people to come out and watch our players.
Coach, this past women's Final Four, in particular the national championship game, set record views across the country for television. I mean, what do you feel about the landscape of women's college basketball and how it's advancing, and just what are your general thoughts about that program and that product being on the national stage like that in such a light?
Yeah, it's epic, and it's something that should have been done a long time ago. And I think that people around the country and world are understanding the value, of the game of basketball that women play, and it's terrific to see, and it's exciting to watch. And you go through and you see the Caitlin Clarks of the world, and it's just great basketball. And our goal is to get there one day, and we will, and but I just think that as for us specifically, the further we go, obviously the more attention we're going to get, and we will be nationally recognized. We got some work to do.
Coach, Heather spoke about how winning is contagious and how this athletic department's really been improving, especially women's soccer, men's soccer, volleyball, etc.
Yep.
How do you see that contagious winning effect possibly transferring over to the women's basketball program?
Well, first you got, I had a great opportunity to visit with several of them at lunch on my visit, and I would be a dummy if I didn't go rub elbows and talk to the coaches here on campus that have successful programs. I want to know what they're doing. I want to know what they're selling. I want to know their philosophies, and eventually I'll come up with, my own thing, but, I'd be crazy not to ask them. And, if they're doing it, I want to know. And I'm going to be relentless. Thank you for your time. Hope